I would have a difficult time getting off the ground, however. The impression was that I had a little personal self-trepidation to returning to the fortress, as though I knew I would be shown something that would be a little unsettling, and nothing like the relatively tame series of tests from the childhood experiences of the fortress, as the first experience of the fortress with its enhanced harshness would hint at, and this resistance translated as an inability to launch myself into the sky on my wings, and even as I did so, and was gaining elevation, I was beset upon by a group of young teenage boys who seemed to want to drag me back down and prevent my reaching the destination. Perhaps these were aspects of my created consciousness, subconscious extensions of my personal self, created at around my teenage years, almost like a subconscious sensor made manifest in the form of a group of individuals. Perhaps the sensor was to not allow me to see this, and the experience may have ended with the first fortress visit, or even stopped at the initial scene with the group as we discussed mundane things, and I may have awoken with just that as an experience. And yet I had the real awareness impressions of the underlying conversation of a great arduous test that led to the scene in the fortress. So the censor may have been eased back, or perhaps the guides adjusted it that I would see more. Then the flashback to the childhood reoccurring experiences of the same fortress of tests with all the other children, yet tamer in comparison, and now returning to the fortress again to see even more, with perhaps my censor manifesting as aspects of my teenage self trying to prevent me. Perhaps it was around this age, early teen age, that the lid was slammed on these particular reoccurring childhood dreams. So these individuals were almost akin to the censor guardians of this subconscious part of the created self. Nevertheless, I persisted, and into the skies I soared, pushing back the censor guardians. I would land in a very dark place, gloomy and ominous. There seemed to be great queues of children, all lined up here, and in every direction, waiting to enter this fortress. They seemed rather excitable about the whole affair. They seemed unconcerned about the forbidding environment or the gloom that enveloped everybody, as though they couldn't see it, as though they were perceiving something else, as though they were seeing something that was relatively tame in comparison to what was actually here, just like my childhood experiences of the fortress tests seemed relatively tame compared to the return to the fortress at the beginning of this experience. For here I was in this moment with my greater awareness and recognition, so I could see what these children could not. I could see now what I wouldn't have seen when I was a child, just like the children here. I could recognize the real side of this situation in creation, behind the filtering layer that was evidently presented to the children here. In the fortress I would go, and was among yet another group of individuals, around my current age as it stands now, of 42, and also my brother Gary at the age he currently is. It was like a fortress reunion, and my impressions were that all these individuals were those that I had accompanied back in the days of my youth, when I had visited this fortress, except all these individuals were of similar awareness to me, give or take, enough at any rate to be here and perceive what we were unable to when we were children, and including my brother, interestingly, for on the physical level his personal self has little interest in becoming more aware. Perhaps all these individuals may not have the awareness currently that they had at the moment of this experience, but an awareness they will have at whatever moment or lifetime they decide to, and we had all come together at this moment with the requisite awareness. I can imagine, as an example, that Gary might have this level of awareness in 1,000,000 years, say, and then has this very experience that I'm having now, this fortress experience, for his continued awareness process and mine. For there is no time in actuality, it's all an isness. So you can have situations where you're with individuals as they will be in their awareness millions of so-called years from now, but lack this awareness currently in time and space, cause and effect creation. And here we were shown the fortress as it actually was. We were given a kind of tour and allowed to literally see behind the wizard's curtain. We could see all these individuals operating machinery and the mechanics of the various traps and treacherous areas that had to be negotiated. Yet they could not see us. They seemed to be ill-intended types, dark forces individuals were my impression, and locked as they were in their personal limited selves, they could not perceive our presence, as though we operated on a vibrationary level of life they could not recognize or perceive. We were operating from our real awareness, that we had the connection to, a real awareness that they had not made the connection with, and so their perceptions limited to their personal selves, and however they had chosen to construct them. Consequently, we were removed from their field of perception. Our real awareness also afforded us the perception of this place as it actually was, a designed fortress of stress and torturous, traumatizing situations operated by these characters. Our real awareness also allowed us to see what was going on in the fortress that had been presented to us as a fairly tame adventure of a kind, with monsters, yes, but nothing that was especially frightful. in as much as these controller dark forces folks could not perceive us due to their awareness being limited to their personal selves, it would also have been so with all the children who entered here, the ones queuing up outside to get into an exciting adventure, aware to an extent that they were having the real side experience, as I once did, but not to the extent that they could see behind the filter of their personal selves, a filter made more so through subliminals, programming, and the programming of their personal selves they carry over from lifetime to lifetime. Thank you for listening to this video, and if you want to hear more, subscribe to my channel to find further recordings and to keep you updated with all the latest new presentation videos. Dwayne the Great Writer is making himself available for those who want to know more and see more and be more than just having another ordinary, unaware life on this purposely poisoned planet. Create your new session with Dwayne the Great Writer and discuss any topic you like. Here are some examples to discuss: personal, financial, relationships, dreams, government, 5G, GMO, chemtrails, vaccines, HARP, military, secret service, spying, subliminal taplining, conspiracy, angels, gods, fairies, ghosts, aliens, reptilians, religious, spiritual, governments, monarchy, and anything that pertains to what you are experiencing in this creation bubble, and also the real universes of real freedom. Learn to get your own answers. New sessions start at 30 minutes at $1, $1 into PayPal a minute, and can be as much time as needed. And yes, the way Dwayne writes his new words refers to something more than what is known here, and this is where you decide to recognize what is real now with all life, or continue on as you have with just another personal life in an aging body form. Contact Kevin Smith UK and Dean Val USA on Facebook and YouTube. Additionally, an official new presentation club is now available. The New Awareness Club. Membership to which is $1 per month through PayPal. Click on the New Awareness website link below the description of this video, and from there navigate to the forum site and register there, which serves as a home base for the club.